Hi everybody! This was Saturday the 11th of June and I went to a fantastic event in Birmingham by the Public Health Collaboration UK.org. So they have a website, there you go. Hold that up properly. See, I don't have all that fancy editing stuff that people have with all their graphics that whiz in from the side. Anyway, that was a really great event today, and I'm going to talk about it. So this was the schedule, or schedule, however you wish to say that, and it was such a great day. I've got various bits and pieces here that I picked up that I'm just going to mention as well. Okay, first of all, we had the lovely Dr. Rangan Chatterjee talking about all like the latest things, and a huge theme in the conference was about how you just cannot get away from the fact of all the evidence that a low carbohydrate diet of real food helps people with diabetes and metabolic syndrome. And these are real doctors that have helped hundreds and hundreds of patients reverse their diabetic and metabolic issues. This. Something else that Dr. Rangan mentioned was the gut dysbiosis, which was really important. So I was making notes. So gut dysbiosis, leaky gut leading to type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. He was talking about the evidence that he had come across that showed how insulin resistance can be stimulated by having a leaky gut. So that was really interesting. So anything microbiome is really hot at the moment, and it has been for quite a while. I mean, I love anything microbiome. It's fascinating. And also there's a lot of documents on PubMed that I have found, studies to do with different strains of biota that they've studied, different studies on these strains showing how they immunomodulate particular autoimmune diseases. So that was very interesting. All you have to do is just look all these things up. And then of course, you know, preventing leaky gut. So the general conclusion is that the future of medicine has to be preventative. I mean, why wait till people get sick? Or if people start to show chronic symptoms of things, then, you know, what ways can we help tackle these issues that are going to be useful and actually achieve something? So, you know, try to get to the causation of things rather than just suppressing all the symptoms. So the leaky gut happens when your enterocytes, the gut wall cells of your small intestine, the epithelial cells, they're not really, the junctions aren't tight anymore, and then various proteins, various bacteria could leak out into the bloodstream, flare up autoimmune diseases, because your immune system thinks various parts of your real body are foreign, but they're not. So in some of the study I saw, it showed they were talking about how these particles that leak out of the gut piggyback onto cells but are yet kind of invisible to the immune system. So the immune system mistakes your body's own cells as something that shouldn't be there, hence high white blood cell counts in people with stuff like SLE, lupus, and various autoimmune diseases that are quite difficult to live with. So yeah, and then we've got the large intestine, which you've got your colonocytes, the cell wall cells of the large intestine. The large intestine is supposed to have a pH that is a bit more acidic. So you've got short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which help strengthen all those cells, so you don't get as much sort of leaky gut. And then, of course, L-glutamine is said to play a big part in strengthening and mending gut wall. So that's very important. And of course, we've got the phenomenon of the microbial transplants, the poop transplants, which science shows that you take poop from a large obese person and you put that in a thin person, and without the thin person having changed their habits or their diet, they start to multiply adipose tissue. And they're like, oh my god, I'm getting fatter, and what's happened? So they've shown this in particular microbiome studies, and they also take bacteriums from different types of people and put them into the rat studies, and showed that same results. So it looks like, you know, there are big donor banks of bacteria, and they're going to make sure they screen people properly, not just for your viruses and all sorts of things, but they tend to have donors which are like fit and slim, and I mean even stuff like they check mental health, because your gut bacteria is said to be involved in a lot of things. So all that is really interesting. And then we had a fantastic lecture by Dr. Zoe Harcombe, and she talked about facts about real food to help people fight back against nonsense, myths, and just leading a better lifestyle. So she produced a postcard here. So she runs special dietary guidelines for diabetics and insulin resistance and various things. As you can see from her card, she's got it's very visually clever. It gets straight to the point. You cannot not understand what this is about. We've got the green go ahead, which is eat real food, which is like pastured, grass-fed, fresh frozen meats and fish, eggs, vegetables, salads, pastured milk and cheeses, fresh fruit, whole fruit, don't remove the fibre, do not juice, it's a myth. And then on the red side, the don't go there, we've got processed foods, surprise, surprise, horrible burgers and sausages, fish fingers, bread, pasta, cereals, they're really starchy and loaded in carbs, which all turns to glucose, potatoes, potato chips, crisps, any sugar, including so-called healthy sugar, like agave nectar, which is pure fructose, deadly for your liver. You might as well drink a shot of vodka. And your coconut crystals, all that kind of thing, still sugar, still incites insulin. Any flours, refined flour, it's like tipping cement into your gut. And the fruit juice, fruit as in juice and fruit as in dried fruit. So what you do to the fruit actually increases its glycemic load. So if you create a preserve, if you boil fruit, if you heat fruit up, basically heating something is like a process of creating a syrup. So you boil or you cook fruit, you're even more than quadruple the amount of sugar that's available in that. So not just dried or juiced, but those. Always keep fruit fresh and whole with all the fibre, because the fibre protects you from getting insulin spike and protects your liver from fructose hit. And then we got a little picture there, which is also a visual cue to what's on the other side. Very, very good. And her website is www.theharcombediet.com. Eat naturally, move naturally. So, very good. It's just kind of like, you know, it's not even, you know, everyone goes, oh, it's just Atkins in disguise. But it's not really. I mean, when Atkins first came out, even though he was practicing for a long time before he published that book and became famous, there wasn't really a focus on the quality, even though a lot of doctors have always known that low carb diets help people with obesity, and they help people with a particular metabolic syndrome and insulin problems. There was no real focus on the quality, like about sort of produce being grass-fed and pastured only, to avoid the wrong ratio of omega fatty acids. You need more omega-3, not omega-6. The ratios get out of hand, and omega-6 is pro-inflammatory. So you also get too much omega-6 from vegetable oils, including the canola and all that stuff. So that's Zoe Harcombe, very good. And then we had the Unwins. They are amazing. It's Dr. David Unwin and Dr. Jen Unwin. She's a psychologist. He's a doctor. They run a practice and they are married. Their presentation was fantastic. I've never seen like a medical health-based lecture before where it was an adorable married couple, and they brought comedy into it as well. They did like role play of playing characters. They were brilliant. I absolutely adored them. So they were fantastic, and they have done such incredible work helping their patients in their practice reverse type 2 diabetes, or metabolic syndrome, lose weight, feel fantastic. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to go ketogenic, but some people in particular are helped medically by the ketogenic diet. So, and we had the Arjun Panacea from the diabetes.co.uk. Diabetes.co.uk. There's this fantastic leaflet, and they are a global diabetes community online, as you can see, focusing on, again, low carb that helps diabetics. And they've got this great leaflet. They've got a low carb program, as you can see there, which can help people. Again, you know, they've got like free advice, and they've helped hundreds and hundreds of people. So 7 out of 10 people improved their average blood glucose levels with the low carbohydrate plan. 80% of people following the program lost weight. You would do, because insulin drives adipocyte storage. So 10% of people lost 9 kg or more. So yeah, and people's fasting ratios improved. So less of the, you know, hypo thing going on. Which I also experienced years ago. You know, I grew up as a kid in the 80s. I had metabolic syndrome, and I also have a metabolic autoimmune disease that makes me prone to diabetes. So I know, you know, very well what hypoglycemia is like. I know what it's like to feel really, really sick if you eat sugar, or I can't even cope with starch. I'm not good with starch. It makes me quite unwell, and I'm very sensitive to I'm very sensitive to any kind of sugars. So, for example, fruit juice and smoothies, no matter how organic or superfoods added they are, my liver alanine aminotransferase, liver ALT, mine shoots right up if I dare touch fruit juice or smoothie. So I had fatty liver before as well. It was 2011 when I had my whole vegan fruit smoothie episode, which obviously I now learned is a bad idea. I re-educated myself on the nutrition that I knew, thanks to amazing lecturers from people like Dr. Robert Lustig, University of California, San Francisco, and various faculties around the world. I reduced a liver ALT from 50 to today it is an ALT 13. But if I dare eat any kind of fruit or starchiness, dare even put a smoothie past these lips, then my ALT shoots right up pretty quickly, in just a matter of months. Because I tested this with monitoring my bloods as well every 3 months. I have full bloods monitored. So over the last 5 years I was able to monitor my liver ALT going up and down depending on what I did. So that to me is my scientific evidence as well of how my body does not like fructose. And we had during the break I got to witness up front a really wonderful moment where Dr. Rangan Chatterjee interviewed Dr. Aseem Malhotra, and he did it live with the Facebook Live on his iPhone, and I held the iPhone for him, but unfortunately Facebook Live decided that the iPhone lens and the iPhone screen didn't match up. But besides that, that was a wonderful moment. So yeah, Dr. Aseem Malhotra, after the lunch break, he did a lecture all about the latest information about the importance of transparency within healthcare and the patients. A lot of evidence that he presented showed that people were being sold treatments and operations that they didn't really need, but somehow these people were just sold these operations, serious operations like heart stents. People put on drugs that they didn't really need as well. So, and that's not just in countries where healthcare you pay for it. This is going on in the NHS as well. So it's like various people are under pressure to do certain things because that's the certain way in which the establishment enforced belief. This is how you do things, this is how we do things, and this is how we've done things for a long time. Woe betide anybody who dares to say, maybe this isn't quite the right way to go about things. Maybe there are other ways that will not only help improve people's lives but save money as well. So people like Dr. Malhotra work really hard, and they're really brave because they go up against the establishment of the way things are done. So they get a lot of flack as well from people. But, what can you do? Progress has to move on. People cannot keep going the way they're going, with the way healthcare is going, and the way obesity is going, the way type 2 diabetes is going. You don't have to look fat non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. You can have all the visceral fat hidden around the organs. It's called thin on the outside, fat on the inside. So that's a genuine term for that. So that was fantastic. And then we had Dr. Ian Lake talking about diabetes and his experience as a doctor dealing with people with diabetes. We had Dr. Tamsin Lewis, who's also like an athlete, talking about something really important, which was healthy body, healthy mind, mental health, how mental health kind of just forces people on selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, antidepressants, but rather than addressing many aspects of hormones, cortisol, sleep patterns, all these things, rather than just dump antidepressants into people. And there are many other approaches, and a lot of people go for years on antidepressants and they're not happy, they're not satisfied, they've never addressed issues or causations of things. And that was really interesting, and she gave a wonderful lecture and talking about her own experiences with things, which I think is always brave for people to do and really wonderful. And it just lets people know, hey, it's okay, you're not alone. I've gone through this and that, and people are like, oh wow, okay, so if they can talk about it, then maybe I can talk about it, and I can ask for help from somebody or seek help. There's nothing to be ashamed of. So yeah, it's addressing the way mental health has been dealt with for a long time is very not good. Mental health still has a long way to go before they can let go of the what I call Victoriana attitude of, oh, it's almost like punitive, this shameful stigma, Victorian attitude towards it. And we had Fixing Dad, which is fantastic documentary, The Personal Impact of Collaboration by Jeff and Anthony Whittington. So they made this documentary about their dad and his experience with diabetes, and them trying to get him to change his diet to like a real food diet. So it's very poignant and lovely and humorous. So I recommend, look up Fixing Dad by Jeff and Anthony Whittington. And then we had a really supercharged lecture from Dr. Joanne McCormack, and I love her passion. She's so passionate about talking about these things, about how children are affected by, and I love this, I love the title she gives it, Protecting Children from Nutritional Harm. Now we can all probably guess what she means by nutritional harm. We're talking about big food corporations, and what I like to call sugar pushers, like drug pushers, because they are as bad, probably worse than drug pushers, because at least with drugs, adults decide they want to go out, do some drugs or whatever. I mean, I'm not into drugs. I like my brain cells working to their full capacity, thank you very much. That whole kind of doped out on opiates thing, I really don't like that. So, sugar pushers, targeting children with sugar, which science shows is just as bad as cocaine. It's addictive, it does cause harm, we know that, and it causes addiction, and the food industry know this, and they're clever about it. They get turn kids into lifetime customers right from day one. You look at the disgusting crap that's in baby food, and this whole follow-on milk, which is crap, utter crap. Read the ingredients, full of glucose syrup, high fructose corn syrup, like soya, GMO soya protein, and all this rubbish. I mean, never in a million years would I dream of giving high fructose corn syrup to a baby, let alone an adult. So yeah, food industry, they create addicts for life, and they know it. Sugar pushers, they do it in schools. They, you know the score, guys. You know the problem people have all around the world with the manufacturers of processed food. Something that I'm passionate about, and I spoke to Dr. Joanne and a fantastic organisation, a labelling revolution called SUGARWISE. That's the website. About somehow starting some kind of campaign about, I call it hashtag ban bad branding to kids. I think it's morally abhorrent that food corporations can use cartoon characters, Disney characters, and on processed food. You know, like breakfast cereal is one of the most guilty offenders of this. You go down the breakfast cereal aisle and you see all these boxes with cartoon characters on them, aimed towards children, and it's not like the parents are completely in charge, because a lot of parents, you know, they want to make their kids happy, they love their kids, and you know, oh yeah, like Tony the Tiger and Kellogg's Frosty. Sorry, Kellogg's Frosties, they're nasty. I mean, you know, kid of the 80s with metabolic syndrome, we had Tony the Tiger in our kitchen. And, you know, as soon as we got wise, Tony the Tiger evicted. So it does affect kids. And I just think it's disgusting. You see all these Disney movie characters all over junk food as well. And it's morally abhorrent. And I think there should be a law against bad branding towards kids. It should be a government thing. Because look, governments, you got your healthcare, you got your Medicare, you got your NHS. Do you seriously want to allow the food manufacturers to be drug pushers to kids, and then you've got to pay for it? Get SUGARWISE. So yeah, I'm going to be doing some campaigning for this, doing some work for this. So go to www.sugarwise.org. So SUGARWISE is where people that create products can become accredited with the new SUGARWISE certification. And this is quite a big thing now, as you can see. I don't know if you can see that. I think the light is shining too bright on it. But if you go to the website, you can see all about it. So the only mark certifying foods that derive no more than 5% of their energy from free sugars. And by free sugars, I mean the availability of sugars. So that includes all sugars. It includes sugars that pretend to be healthy. So like, you know, your garbage, like agave syrup, which is as bad as just drinking vodka, because it's free fructose and it hits your liver like you know, drinking some alcohol. It's alcohol for children, sugar is. So on the website, a lot of really great small companies that do low carb foods or sugar-free foods, they can get certified, they can get this on their product. They go to the website. So the amazing lady that set this up, she set up SUGARWISE because she had a beautiful baby daughter. She didn't want her daughter to, you know, have all this crap that they had at nursery full of sugar and all this junk. You know, she was so strict about it, and she was horrified at the amount of stuff that's got hidden sugar in it, sugar pretending to be other things. So she was like, right, let's get this started. So yeah, you can find out all about her on her website as well. So we've got other examples of the labelling here. So we've got the amount of teaspoons of added sugar in this product, certified free from added sugars. It's really good. So, what else have we got here? So the reasons why we need to bin dietary guidelines in relation to dietary saturated fat by Dr. Trudy Deacon. This was great because, let's face it, saturated fat is vital for the human body. Your brain wouldn't function, your sex hormones wouldn't be there. You know, it's just impossible to go without saturated fat and be a human being. So yeah, she presented all the evidence. So the demonization of saturated fat was obviously perpetuated by a lot of false, sort of conveniently adjusted science, most famously by the Ansel Keys. If you Google Ansel Keys, you will see what I mean. And science driven by being financed by the agriculture industry. So yeah, and such issues have resulted in just a catastrophe of health. So these lectures will be available to view if you go to the Public Health Collaboration website, which is www.phcuk.org. They also link to their YouTube, so it'll be up in like a month's time, and you can see all this evidence for yourself and all these amazing speakers. So a lot of amazing things will be happening from this conference. What else have I got here? Yeah, there's a lot of fantastic people that I met. You can also see Dr. Joanne McCormack's website. She is www.healthylivingsite.me. So you can see that, healthylivingsite.me. So, and I also met a wonderful lady called Lou Levents. She is CEO and founder of Sweet Enough, which I loved. I had adorable conversations with her. She's wonderful. So Sweet Enough transforms the way you eat one bite at a time. And she's a specialist in dealing with psychology of addiction as well. So that's www.sweetenough.online. And she's also on LinkedIn and Twitter. So yeah, there were so many great people to chat to. It was a really great event. So go. Real food rocks. Right, I am so incredibly tired, and then I cannot remember the other things I was going to talk about. I have to do it another time. And I'll just check the rest of my other notes quickly I made. So there's lots of really useful information here. Oh, also love how the Unwins also mentioned how people are brought up in life to focus on the bad a lot, focus on all the bad things, and he's kind of got his patients to turn things around a lot by reiterate the good positive achievements you have as well. So if you focus on the positive achievements, the good that's happening, kind of makes your brain chemicals feel happier, makes your serotonin more stable, makes you feel better, and makes you feel, oh yeah, I am doing good actually. Even though I felt like I'd fail and I felt like, oh, all these things are bad, I have in fact achieved quite a lot of positive things here. So we're taught to focus on the bad in various ways, maybe education, generations of families. So what have you gained? The knowledge you've gained by the experience that you've had, even if it might have been like a hard experience, you've still gone through that experience and you've gained insight and knowledge from it. Your gifts and your talents, you know, you've all got gifts and talents, and a lot of points along the way in life we forget the talents and the gifts that we have developed or naturally have. So it's important to remember these things. It's like, oh yeah, I remember I was really good at that. So resourcefulness, what do you have at hand to use right now? What are your resources, that you can use to get you, more steps closer to where you want to go, what you want to achieve. So yeah, there's all these really positive things. It was a really positively driven day, and I just wanted to end on that, what Dr. Unwin said. So you can follow him on Twitter at lowcarbgp. And Jen Unwin is also on Twitter as well. So great. And you can catch these fantastic lectures when the film of today is edited and then published. Great. And remember, as I said, just eat. #just eat real food.